What is up, guys? Keelan here. Hoyoverse, the creators of Genshin Impact, have created a brand new turn-based RPG gacha called Honkai Star Rail, and a lot of people have been asking me for a reroll guide, especially because Hoyoverse has implemented a IP/network ban that kind of prevents people from creating multiple accounts at the same time. And so I wanted to make this video to show you all how to bypass that and create infinite amount of accounts, as well as outline rerolling so you can have the most efficient reroll possible to maybe start off with exactly what you want. Alright, to begin, let's talk a little bit about the various methods you can do for rerolling. The first method takes a little under 30 minutes and gives you either 29 or roughly 36 summons depending on the summoning method you choose to do. The second method gives you about 10 more standard banner tickets and a bit more Stellar Jade, but it does take about 15 to 20 minutes longer than that. And then the last method is going to require you to get to that Trailblaze level 5 at that method too, but also spend more time to go and collect, I think, roughly about 200 Stellar Jade, because you are going to try and complete that beginner banner in the 50 summons so that you can get a guaranteed 5-star character. I don't really recommend doing the third method because it does take quite a bit of time to get that last bit of Stellar Jade unless we get some more promotional codes, and I think the most effective one for time versus summon value is going to be that first method. And in these next clips, I'm going to be showing you how much summon currency you have after the first method, as well as how you spend that currency to be able to get all those summons I talked about earlier. Once you finish the tutorial and unlock summoning where you get Asta as your guaranteed, you can go click on the top left where your cell phone is and then go to your 3 dots on the top right and do redeem code, where as of recording this video there are 5 promotional codes that I will be putting in the description below. And once you input all 5 of those codes, you can go off into your mailbox and do a claim all, and from there you'll end up getting 20 standard summon tickets from the pre-registration rewards, as well as the 400 Stellar Jades from those promo codes. Additionally, you can choose to go and do the next quest, which has you talk to 3 research NPCs. It's a relatively quick one, about a minute or two, and when you do end up doing that, you will unlock your events, in which you can go and grab 1 limited banner summon ticket from the daily check-in. From here, your total asset count should be roughly about 20 standard banner tickets, as well as roughly around 496 Stellar Jades. This will be a little bit higher or lower by like 5 increments depending on how many chests you end up getting. And with this amount of resources, you could technically go and do 2 multis on this banner and have 4 tickets left over. And from doing those 2 multis, you can go into the exchange shop down here and go to Ember Exchange and exchange for these Star Rail passes and get 4 additional ones for 1 more multi, meaning 3 multis on that beginner banner. And then from there, you'll rinse, wash, repeat, go back to the store, and then go into your Ember Exchange and go buy the Star Rail special passes, the limited banner passes. And if you have Starlight at all because you pulled extra 4 stars or a 5-star, you can trade this in for maybe some more limited banner tickets. And from there, you can go and spend the rest of that on this banner for roughly about 5 or 6 summons, if I remember correctly, on this banner for, let's say on the bright side, 36 summons. Now, I actually don't prefer that method, but that one is the way to get the most amount of summons in the shortest amount of time. But the way I prefer it is I prefer to go summon the 2 multis right here on the standard banner. The reason for that is because this one may be discounted, but if you see here, this one says it's a guaranteed 5-star character within 50 warps, which means that if you do end up getting a character before the 50 warps, that means that when you max this out and get all 50 warps done, you're not getting another character. So what that means is that if you end up getting a 5-star character here in this 2 multis, or in the 9 summons that you're going to eventually be able to do on this one in exchange, that means you'll have this one left over so that you can summon while you're playing to go and get another guaranteed by accumulating 40 more tickets. And how you're going to get those 40 more tickets is that because you're doing 2 multis here and not using the Ember Exchange shop, you'll eventually go and get these 5 here if you want. And then you can also go and do the event page where there are Trailblazing Will event, where you will be able to get 10 extra standard banner summons from reaching these account levels, from account level 5, 15, 25, 35. 15 and 20 and up to 25 is relatively easy. 35 might take a little bit of time for you, but I'm sure you'll grind it out if you really want to. So that's also why you don't necessarily need to buy those 5 from that exchange shop, because you technically do get 40 from this event anyways. And once again, going back to it, the alternative method that I prefer kind of ends up giving you 29 summons versus 36 summons. And if you do the math on that, that's about roughly a 20% difference. So you will be getting a 5-star like less likely when you're doing your rerolls if you do this method, but it's kind of better for the long term in a way. But it's up to you. You know, if rerolling is a pain for you, maybe go for the 36 summon route. Otherwise, go for the 29. And really quickly, I do want to go over the summon rates in this game. If you are familiar with the Genshin Impact summoning system and rates, it is the exact same. And if you look over here on this banner, you'll see it has a 0.6% summon chance. And the 5 stars on the beginner banner are only 5-star characters. There are no light cones on this banner at all. Comparatively to the standard banner, which does have a 0.6% summon chance, but it's 50% characters and 50% weapons. Which also means that because there's 7 characters available on this banner, if you are looking for one character in particular, that means you have about a 0.086% chance to go get that character on every single summon you end up doing. And with that being said, since the beginner banner only has 5-star characters and the standard banner does have 5-star characters and light cones on the banner, it's another reason why you may want to summon on the beginner banner instead if you don't like rerolling. Me personally, I enjoy rerolling, and if I can get a 5-star character winning that 50-50, that'd be really nice because that means that account will have 2 guaranteed 5 stars at that point, as opposed to if somebody was to get a 5-star here and not be able to get another 5-star or at least another guaranteed 5-star on this banner after pulling it. Now for the rate up or limited banners, they are going to have that 0.6% chance as well too, but 50% of the time it will be the rate up character and 50% of the time it will be the random standard character. If you do end up getting a random standard character, the next time you do get another 5-star, it will be guaranteed the rate up 5-star character. PD does carry over from banner to banner, as well as guaranteed does carry from banner to banner as well. Now, we can take a quick look at the light cone banners, and you'll see here that the light cones have 75% chance to get the rate up and 25% chance to not get the rate up. And if it's the exact same as Genshin, it should be that it is a 0.7% chance to go and get a 5-star on the light cone banners. And as an example here, I am going to go show you all how to go and use this currency currently to be able to maximize your summons and get those 29 possible. So we're going to start off by going on that standard banner, like I said before, and I'm going to do that one multi-warp. And for the sake of time, we are going to skip it. I know everybody loves watching summon animations, but you can watch your own reroll summon animations. So we got nothing there, and then we're going to warp again on that multi. We're going to skip here. And we got nothing once again, sadly. But now we're going to go to the exchange tab, and we're going to go head over to Ember Exchange and go to the special passes and go pick up the maximum amount you can. The amount you can pick up will vary based on how your summons went, but we're going to go over to the seal banner, and we're going to go summon on this one. Do single at a time because we don't have enough for a multi quite yet. Oh man, we are not very lucky, but it's okay. I think we got about one more summon on a few accounts. Let's see. Okay, we had it on 3. Might as well just skip manually here. And then at this point, we're out of Stellar Jade. So we're going to go back to that exchange shop. We're going to go back to the Ember Exchange. And we're going to go buy the last tickets we can. And then we're going to go to that Starlight Exchange and see if any of the accounts got some Starlight. We do not have any. So we're going to back out again. We see we have 70 Undying on 3 of the accounts. So if we get a 3-star on this pull here, then we'll be having enough to go back again. Although these 2 did get 4 stars, so I don't think we have it. We got Hook here, and we'll go back to the exchange again one last time. Check what we got. We have 90 on only one of the accounts. That's fine. One single summon could give us that SSR. And we'll see here we have 8 and 8 again, so we can't even Starlight change, but we'll do that one single. Did I buy the wrong one? Oh, I bought a standard, I think. Yeah, I did. Oops. I think I ran out of specials. But either way, there's the summons there. And we got nothing. Well, hopefully your summons go a lot better than this one did. Now, if you want to choose to do the next method, which does take a bit more time, but it does give you one extra multi, what you can do is go and get to Trailblaze level 5. You can see right now, after the tutorial and the warp summoning thing, we are at Trailblaze level 3. And if you remember back over at this event, at Trailblazing Will, on that first one, you get one extra standard multi. But that does require you to continue down with the quest line over and over again until you get to the very first boss. You can't miss him. He's very big. And once you complete that boss fight, you will go and talk to Himeko. And after you talk to Himeko, you'll go to Herta's office where you'll talk to her. And once you finish talking to her, do not go inside the portal thing. What you will do there is you will end up being Trailblaze level 6 right after you finish talking to Herta. And once you get that, you will go over to the vents and claim your one multi. And maybe you'll have a bit more Stellar Jade, but honestly, it's not really worth it. Now, I will say that it can be worth it to get to Trailblaze level 5 for some people. Those people would be the ones that are planning to spend all of their summons, including your Stellar Jades, onto the beginner banner so that you can go and reach that 50 warp summon and get that guaranteed 5-star character. Because if you remember, you will get about 30 tickets from the events and the pre-registration rewards, and then you can also get 5 from the Ember Exchange, monthly Ember Exchange, and then you have about 3 single summons worth of Stellar Jade there, and you can get about another 100 Stellar Jade from doing a summon share as well as a Bronya trial quest. And from that point, you'll be missing about 200 Stellar Jade, which you can go and open chests, do achievements, do some more story quests to go unlock the rest of that. Now, wherever you decide to stop your reroll process and you do want to reset your account, what you're going to do is you're going to go into the cell phone, and on the right side, there's going to be a cogwheel. From there, you're going to click the second to last icon, which looks like an ID card, and then head to the user center. And once you're in there, you're going to click that link option, and you're going to put an email. I highly recommend you use a salted email where you can go and grab something like a dummy Gmail, one of the ones you logged in to one of these accounts with, such as this email here. And what you're going to do to salt is you're going to put any combination of periods in the name anywhere you'd like, as long as they're not consecutive. What that will do is that will consider the email as a unique email, but it will send every email over to this original email address. So it just forwards it over so you don't have to go and log into all these different emails to get your verification codes. As you can see here, as some examples, I have the period here next to between the K and the I, then the I and the L, and even down here I have one where the K and the I have one and the I and the L have one as well too. It doesn't matter as long as it's not 2 consecutive periods. Once you've put your salted email into the email field, you're going to need to put a password that's 8 to 30 characters long. I just choose to copy paste a very simple password into each of these fields because this account is just going to be deleted, so it doesn't really matter what the password is. And I also choose the same password because later I'm going to synchronize them so that I can just delete them all at the same time. From here, you're going to want to go and grab each of your verification codes and get this sent to the mail. This can take a little bit of time because you do have to input the right thing properly so it knows you're not a bot. And here, we're going to finish this up. And on to the last one. I do recommend you kind of keep track of what order you did them in, because when you go and check out your email here, you can see right on this part, I have 4 emails from Hoyoverse. And if I click on one of these and hit that drop down, you'll see that email is sent to Keylie period me roll. And if I go check another one, this one here is sent to kill period I'm roll. And on that other one, you can see the period is after the second letter there. And I can use all these codes, and because I started from bottom right and went into a clockwise format, I'm just going to go and paste these verification codes in that order. And I'm just going to do one quick example, which you can see here is I have this linked here now as email, and now at that point I can go to the linked accounts down here, and I can hit unlink. What that will end up doing here is it'll allow me to go and scroll down to the email that I actually did end up using for this account and unlinking it. And from doing that there, what that allows me to do is go off and log out, go to the cell phone, hit that log out button, return to the login page, and log out again and then Google single sign on back into that account again. And once that occurs, that'll allow me to start a brand new account right away. And once we get here, we're going to hit that log out. Then we're going to go log in again, then go to Google, and we're going to click that same account we used. And see, if you get this pop up here, that means it ended up working successfully. If it doesn't, you may have to like close your game and restart it again. But there you go. That's how you go and reset your account so that you can do another reroll. Now, some of you may be wondering how I had 4 star rails running at the same time, as well as controlling all 4 star rails at the same time. The key to that is using an emulator. They're free and safe to use, but you may need to enable virtualization in your BIOS. You can go and Google how to do that, depending on the computer you have, as well as the emulator you decide to use. There's a lot of good emulators out there, such as LD Player, BlueStacks, Vox, Mimu, whatever you want to use, but I personally used LD Player 9 for this because it gave me the least amount of trouble setting up for StarRail and setting up this whole synchronization process. So when you install LD Player or whatever you do, you're going to want to go and check out your settings for the instance that you currently have set up by default, and you're going to want to make sure it's 64-bit as well as 2 CPU cores and 4096 for RAM. Once you have that set up, you're going to start that instance up, and you're going to go and install StarRail on that one app store, and then you're going to run it, log into any sort of account, and then you're going to try to start the game. It's going to give you error on your first time around that's saying you need to restart the game to install updates. You're going to just close it, reopen it, and then you're going to try to get back in, and from there you're going to get a 7 GB update. Once you have completed that and you start getting to that space cutscene, you can start closing StarRail. And for LD Player, at the very least, you can click Add Instance, and then you're going to clone instance. You're going to select that instance that is the one that you just fully updated StarRail with, and you're going to create however many instances you want. I recommend starting with 2 or 3 running simultaneously at the same time, depending on what kind of computer you have. And if you have leftover CPU available, then feel free to run some more. Just keep in mind, though, that you don't want to be capping out your CPU all the time, because on cutscenes, it does spike up in CPU usage by quite a lot. And as well as the more CPU that you consume and have less leeway for expansion, then the more likelihood that your instances get out of sync with each other, and you're gonna have to spend a little bit of time to fix them. Once you have all 4 instances running, go on the instance that you will want to control with and go over to the triple dot feature, at least on LD Player, and then go click on the synchronizer. All emulators do have this sort of feature, so just find it there, YouTube it, whatever it may be. For LD Player, you're just going to select all or select them manually and hit start syncing, and then you're just going to click on your StarRail and it should open all 4 at the same time. If you have not logged out and logged into different accounts, make sure you go and do that. You can always pause your synchronization and do different things, or you can stop it completely. It's your choice, and always resume it then too. When you are starting out, make sure you are logging in with the Google single sign-on option, because this allows you to reuse your accounts multiple times over and over again, as long as you are using that unlinking process I did show earlier. If you do try using the register now process and inputting an email, temp mail, salted email, whatever it may be, it will cause you to become network limited, where it will give you an error that says your network may be at risk, and it will like lock you out from making new accounts for a while. Now, if that does happen to you, that's not a big deal, because once again, you can use the Google single sign-on to bypass that. So don't worry about that. And when you are unlinking your accounts too, you still cannot use temp mail to unlink them as well too. You still will receive the same network at risk error. So make sure you are using your salted Gmail accounts when you are unlinking. Now, I know that did take quite some time, but I do want to briefly cover the idea of if I think it's worth rerolling, as well as who I think is worth rerolling for. So to begin, I think if you can do 3, 4, 5, 6 multi-instance rerolling and running them all simultaneously at the same time, and you have the time, but maybe not necessarily a desire to want to spend the money on the game as of right now, I think it definitely can be worth rerolling. It'll only take you maybe about an hour or 2 hours to be able to get a 5-star, and I think that's pretty much good enough to start off with. Now, that doesn't mean you absolutely have to reroll, especially if you're in a 1 or 2 rerolling situation, because it can take quite some time to go and get a 5-star. You always have that beginner banner that can guarantee you that 5-star character at the end of it, so it's not that big of a deal at all. The characters I think are worth rerolling for are in first place Bronya, because she gives that speed buff that helps your team take more turns, and she can be very good future proof because she works with supports, damage dealers, all that kind of stuff. Bailu right now is really good too, because Forgotten Hall, which is the Abyss equivalent if you've played Genshin Impact, will require you to have some sort of shielders or healers, and Bailu is going to be that healing aspect, as well as she can revive one of the teammates on your die in case a mistake does happen. Afterwards, it's kind of Clara and Japart, which I think are really good. Clara has that taunt, as well as that familiar summon that kind of beats on enemies if somebody attacks her, and Japart gives AoE team shields. Now, the remaining other 3 that you can get on the banner are still good, but not my preferred, because there are other characters that are doing the same thing, maybe a little bit better than them, and so forth. Himeko is on that list there. She's the Honkai OG mommy, and she is a Pyro AoE character, but that might not necessarily be the best. But I have heard there are some data mines that may make her better in the future, so if you do end up getting her and you like her, definitely keep her, go with it. The other one is Welt. I personally don't really like Welt too much, because he slows down the enemies as opposed to Bronya speeding you up, which means that if you are doing some sort of wave-based combat and you end up slowing the enemies down and they die, there goes that debuff, it's gone. As opposed to Bronya, you can have that buff continuing wave after wave after wave. And then also we have the last slot, Yinqing, which is a single target damage dealer. He has these swords and has these buffs that he has over and over again when he does attack. But if he does get hit, he does lose his buffs, which makes it a little bit awkward in my opinion. And Seal kind of does better single target damage, but keep in mind Seal is a limited time character. And also the next limited time character of Lion Boy Jingyuan is considered the best AoE character in the game, and still top 4, top 3 single target damage character in the game as well too. Especially if Yinqing does not have stacks, Yinqing will fall down further. That's going to be all for me for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and it was helpful for you in your rerolling process if you do decide to go for some rerolls. And make sure you all check out the full rerun commentary video with 4 instances running at the same time on the channel. And make sure you swing by the Twitch channel to go and see me play some more Star Rail and learn more from me. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.